Hey guys, and welcome to the Boring Channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about my aircraft. This here is a 1993 Zenair ch300, built by it's an amateur built aircraft. And we're going to talk about the canopy today. As some of you know, I've been working on redoing the canopy since it got damaged in a building collapse, and this is not how to do it, this is how I did it. This is my version of it. This is not the only way to do it. This is how I did it. As I was saying, my airplane the canopy got damaged in a building collapse, and so I ended up having to rebuild the whole canopy. Now this airplane is equipped with a forward sliding canopy, and that was a modification that some of the Zenair ch300s had. Some of them have basically a tip-up canopy coming from the left, hinging on the right-hand side, and so it just tips over. Which this one has a forward sliding canopy, as I mentioned. The plans on Zenair tell you to get 31-inch drawer slides. What I did is I went and got 32-inch, ordered them off of Amazon. I can put a link in the description below. It's nothing fancy. However, I had to redo the whole thing from start to finish, and as you see, this fiberglass looking thing currently looks like a piece of bacon, which is awesome, but not necessarily the look we're going for. But that's a whole nother topic in itself, which we'll get to a little bit later. So the canopy is made up of basically 3 structural parts. Well, 4. Be a drawer slide on each side, which one side is fastened to the aircraft itself. And then it consists of 2 hoops, which is the forward hoop, which is a steel hoop, and the front hoop. And then the side is welded in with gussets, basically connecting the drawer slide with the hoop. The same thing is done in the front. My old canopy had the gusset on the outside, basically running from here back to about here, which I didn't like. So I actually got 32-inch drawer slides, which brings it out a little bit farther, which allowed me to put the gusset on the outside. There you see the gusset, and probably saw the screw in there too. And the canopy itself, I got from a manufacturer down in Louisville, Louisville, Missouri. And it comes 42 inches long, 23 inches high, and 90 inches long. So you end up not having to use the whole thing. That being said, because it's manufactured by some guy in a garage, he ended up building it taller. So you see right here, this hoop right here is 2 inches taller than what it's supposed to be, to give himself more headroom in there, which is handy for me because I'm a big guy. But it also created a problem for me, and that was that the canopy was not tall enough. So I ended up with a gap. You can kind of see where the canopy ends right there. That was supposed to be down, basically halfway down the drawer slide on the outside, which would be about 2 inches-ish, somewhere in there. Which brings me to the fiberglass that I ended up having to do. The original fiberglass that he had came up quite a bit farther up here and was pretty much as tight as what I've got here now, but it ended up being about an inch approximately too wide, and it was just big and heavy, and first of all, it didn't fit, and it was a poor design. I'm not sure if that is if that comes from the manufacturer like that, the front piece. But anyway, I did my own. It doesn't look super good right now, but I've got a guy who's gonna gel coat it. So to get this molding formed, basically, I ended up putting a whole bunch of duct tape all across, and you can kind of see the residue from the duct tape, which I still need to take off. So the duct tape, I formed it as good as I could. Basically, I went from the high point here, left myself a cavity, and brought it down to where I wanted it to meet the aircraft. So I ended up taping everything up, and then basically putting 2 layers of fiberglass cloth down and applying the resin. Now this red/pink that you see was supposed to be basically a peel away ply to leave it with a relatively smooth finish. But anyway, and then ended up I can't take it off. I could take it off some of the places, but so lesson learned, use some real peel ply. And this is the latching mechanism that my airplane came with when I bought it, which is basically a latch off of an old garage door. And then out of the plans for the sliding canopy, it comes with a mount to make this hook, which basically hooks into the pole over here. And up on the top here, I just got some really thin metal. I welded myself a little box and then made a insert, a round pipe, which has a brass bushing. So the brass bushing is actually attached to the handle, and I just went down to the local parts store and grabbed myself a brass bearing for that, and it works really well. It's a better design than what it was previously. The handle is held on by a little cotter pin. Super simple design. Now the screws that I fastened it with, I'm not an aircraft builder and I don't know what I'm doing. But what I ended up doing is the hoops, ended up putting rivet nuts inside them. Basically, you drill a hole and you rivet a nut on the inside. So that makes it for a little bit cleaner design, where the screw doesn't come all the way through into the cabin. And so this is number 8 screw with a number 10 washer. It just gives it a bit of a nice flat surface, I guess. Which, I mean, I've got a lot of them in here just because of the modification I had to make with the canopy being the different size than what I needed. So when building the canopy, one of the things I probably lost the most sleep over was trying to figure out how to bend those hoops. Now, I had got myself a pattern for it on the rear hoop already, which basically was a piece of plywood that I set on top and just traced it. The front one, I ended up with a piece of cardboard, and I could just, first of all, I tried to draw it as close to it as I could to begin with, and then I just kept test fitting it until it was good enough where I wanted it. Now you see, this is my template to make the front hoop. The one side I got a nice curve. This one ended up with a bit of a point in it. So what I did is I had leftover plywood, it's 1/2 inch plywood, and I just set this on top and drew my line, and then so that line was perfect, and then I flipped it around and put it on this side too. So this is what I came up with, and that is I drew my line 1/2 inch back from where I wanted it, because the product I was using is a electrical conduit, and I nailed with my nail gun. I just shot on little scraps of 1/2 inch plywood just on top of the line. About, depends on the curvature, right? But this is a relatively mild curve, so I ended up, it's maybe an inch. This one's probably 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch, and fasten this block on this side just so the conduit has something to hold against it. So see, this is the hoop for the front, and the blocks are a lot tighter on this on the side here than through the middle. It's just because this is more of a tighter curve, so it's a little tougher to get. But there's my electrical conduit, just a 1/2 inch electrical conduit, which is what the plans call for. And there again, I've got a block. I'm just going to insert this here. And then I'm going to start pulling it this way. Like that. And you end up having to work with it a little bit, but eventually you can kind of get that curvature in there. Yeah. So on mine, I actually ended up getting it too wide, and so I ended up having to cut it in the middle, and I just pulled the two pieces together and welded them. And yeah, there you go. That's my take on how to do the build the canopy and the hoops along with it. So hope that helps out somebody, and we'll see you in the next video.